Alright guys, yeah, Levi's slash was making some weird noises. We were just down at the beach. I've taken it for a run and then Levi took it for a run. And I worked out that this wasn't sitting centre. So I thought, okay, I'll pull it apart and have a look. So that little cap just goes on there and you've just got these little grub screws that hold it in place, so you can basically pull that straight out. Now there's a bearing in there and that's obviously gone. There's a bearing that sits in there that's completely shot, which is kind of expected. I've already replaced it once. Yeah, it's completely buggered, so that's what's stuffed it. And then there's basically no room between magnets in there. It is such a tight fit. These bearings keep the centerpiece perfectly in the center, and once they come apart, well, once a bearing goes, yeah, it's stuffed, but they are repairable. You just pull them apart, give them a clean up, put a new bearing in this end section here, slots in there. You might be able to just see the actual ring inside. It's stuck in there pretty good, but yeah, bearings sit in there, new one. So just going to clean it up and you can have a look. Okay guys, so what we've got here is yeah, the bearing that was in there has disintegrated and it's actually got in between the magnets on there and on here, and they're all stuck here on the outside. They're actually stuck. I don't know if you can see them, but there's all ball bearings there. You can see those. So they've somehow managed to get into that gap and yeah, just basically seize the motor up. So this can be cleaned up, I think, and I'll try another bearing in it. I'll just clean it up and try another bearing in it, and yeah, we'll go from there. I'll try and give that a good clean out in there. It's basically just magnets, I think. Give that a lot of garbage in there, a lot of dust. We're just driving on the sand, but yeah, these bearings, I greased over the top of that, but eventually it washes away, and the seal isn't as good. The bearing dries out, and yeah, it's all over. The hardest part is getting, well, that bearing's probably all right down there. See, there's a bearing down the bottom there. That's the one that I have replaced before. I replaced both ends. That's a hard one to get out. Obviously, while it's in good condition, you can push it from this end. But once it's stuffed and it disintegrates completely, it is a hard one to get to. This tolerances are minimal, eh? Really minimal. I'm going to put a bearing in that cap and put this back on just to see if it does spin freely, but as you can see, no tolerance in there at all. There's very, very little movement there, and that's how it's supposed to be. So anyway, let's get it sorted. Okay, so I've squeezed another bearing in there, and then it's just a matter of popping it back on and screwing it in place. So it's going to be a little bit hard because you've got to make sure it centers everything up. Alright, so that's pretty straightforward. Put your little screws back in. screws, 1.5 mil. So basically a rebuild kit, guys, is just, honestly, it's just a set of bearings really. Don't go buying the kit, just buy a bunch of bearings. Those bearings, I just bought them in these little cases like that. They're not cheap, mind you. I think I paid 50-60 bucks for 20 of them. 10 and so 2 of these, two of those, 30 bucks each. But they're just your standard 11, I think 11 by 5 by 4 bearing, and they're used very commonly throughout the slash. So that feels all right. So if I chuck that back on, I can turn it properly. Put that on there. Tighten that up. That feels all right. Alright guys, we'll plug her in. Controller's already on, so we just want to see how it's all going. It's not going at the moment. Okay, now we're on. Okay, seems good. Alright guys, so this time, crisis averted. Managed to fix it up, so yeah, sometimes it's worth just pulling stuff apart, sussing it out. There's not much to those motors, just, you know, sets of magnets, wiring. The wiring shouldn't come undone. Sometimes these wires do wear through on the plastic down here, like where they go through there. I've noticed I've put sleeves on those, on Levi's, but I probably need to redo those sleeves. But those motors are rebuildable, basic, with just bearings, and preferably get a cap on the end if you do lose that cap, which Levi has, so moisture can get in there. As that bearing turns and moisture's getting splashed up on there, it's going to work its way into those bearings. Yeah, no, he's good to go. So again guys, thanks for watching Rock and Roll Crawls and Bashes. Keep on rocking, keep on crawling, and till next time, we'll see ya.